Good afternoon, students. This is Dr. Morgan Phoenix coming to you from Stanley, Virginia. Here is your first installment in a series of 8 videos in Discussion Board, which will give you weekly tips and pointers on how to maximize your success and minimize confusion on the weekly assignments. For today, I'm going to give you a brief overview of the 2 recurring assignments, Journal Article Critique and Discussion Board. Real simple, okay? And if you've probably already seen in the announcement, the video concerning that included the journal article critique. Alrighty, but here we go. I'm going to give you that again briefly. And if you have any questions about what a journal article critique is supposed to look like, there are samples in the week 1 announcement, sample A and sample B. And students have given me permission to share them. And likewise for final projects, I'll be posting final projects samples in week 2 and 3. 2 and/or 3, so that you can get a good sense of what the final project is supposed to look like. And before I forget to tell you this, for your journal article critique choices, make sure you're choosing journal article subject matter that serves your final project. Wouldn't that be the wisest thing to do? To be almost making chapters in your final project. And it's no small coincidence that there are 8 headings in your final project. But here you go, journal article critique, and once again I'll show you the exact same high-tech representation here. The citation goes at the top only. There is no reference page. No reference page, and I'll know that you've watched this video if you do this properly. No reference page. Citation goes at the top, APA, and you can streamline it a little bit. Take out all that retrieve from stuff. Don't need that. I can go and find your article if I need to see it. That's for this course only, of course. Author's thesis in the first sentence. What the author is telling us about a particular issue or concern, okay? And make that in your own words, no quotes. No quotes in this document, please, unless it's a single word or a single phrase that is truly that person's coining, okay? Okay, then you go to the author's supporting information, your critique about that, and the critique will include the strategic details of that supporting information, the kinds of the A, B, C, and D that we have learned from this that we can apply. And I'm going to use the word strategic all the time in the course. It gets almost to be a drudgery for you all, boring. But by strategic, I mean the specific actions that we take to accomplish a specific goal. Okay. And hopefully from these journal articles you're going to be gaining strategic information. And then you finish up with how this relates to your work, to your final project, to your life, to your wishes, that kind of a thing. And it's 1 page, double-spaced. Put this in first person, if you would, please, how it relates to you. The assignment instructions do say third person, but no point off for that either way. If you use third person because you like that for graduate work, but I think it's very, very stilted when you're saying the author of this submission believes that the author can use this information in the author's final project. Sounds like a little bit much, doesn't it? Okay, let's go now to the discussion boards. You all know about discussion boards, but here are the requirements for this course and for the university. The course requires a 300-word post by Thursday evening. The reason it must be in by Thursday evening is that your classmates have to have time to look at the material so that they can respond. Those are the responses. 200-word responses due by Sunday evening. To gain any credit, it must be 300 words. It must be in by Thursday, and that's just all. This the way it goes. Okay, and lengthy quotes are not part of the word count. Make sure you put a Firefox word counter down at the bottom of your screen so that you know that you've done enough work to make this reasonable. Okay, and enjoy this. Enjoy the postings of in Discussion Board. And for week 1, you have 2 posts. You have your introductory post that gains no points but is a vital information and vital value to your classmates and to me. All right, and then the week 1 prompt that you'll be responding to. Okay, for the replies, here is a requirement. Your 2 replies must be unique, meaning you can't just post two separate things that's of interest to you, and it must be in response to what the classmate has said. You're going to read the other classmate's initial post and say, I really appreciated what you have said about such and such, okay? And then you give some substantive material and input about how you feel about that. It's a response to a classmate. Put your classmate's name in the first sentence as well, or in some form of salutation, okay? Okay, that should be very, very simple. It's a response to a classmate. No copy and pasting the same response to two different classmates, because that's not a response to a classmate. That is just that's a fresh post, basically. Okay, and then we see up here it says reference. Each of your posts, both your initial thread and your response to classmates, must contain some form of reference to the most convenient is to Ruby Payne or to Lorraine Monroe or to the Guggenheim DVD, and you can do in-text reference there, just Ruby Payne and then the year of the edition that you have, okay, 2013 perhaps, most likely. Alrighty, and or Guggenheim, that's enough, okay, because we have all of the APA representation of those works in the syllabus, so you do not need to return to them in full force to provide reference. But the purpose of reference is to add some authority to your voice. Just telling somebody that you liked what they wrote is not quite enough. It has to refer to some other things, and your understanding of the material needs to be backed up by the work of people who have dedicated their lives to this, as you were doing now, as you were beginning to do. So once again, make sure you have some form of reference, and scriptural reference is fine. You know, scripture applies always. But it must be relevant to what it is you're talking about. And let's also try to, as much as possible, interpret that scriptural reference in strategic terms. For example, train up a child in the way he should go, and he will not depart from it. Okay? There are strategic pieces to that. One is train up a child. How are we going to do that? Exactly, and that's what this course is all about. How are we going to deal with that diversity issue, specifically in a training process, both for ourselves or to the children that we have, or to the communities, in the way that he shall go? That's a description, a definition of a goal, and we have to be strategic about that. It has to be spelled out so that we know what to do and we know where we're headed. That's the only way we can do that strategic cycle of knowing where we want to be. We want to take that hill. It's sort of military. We want to take that hill. How are we going to array our forces so that we're taking that hill, right? And then how will we know that we accomplished what it is we wanted to accomplish? Well, here's how far up the hillside we made. Okay, and then they're going to rethink how we did it to get this far, and to go further. What are we going to do? Strategies. We're talking about it all the time. I think that's all for today. This is going over. They always go over. Once again, I have sample projects posted in week 1 announcement, the sample journal article critiques rather, and then the sample projects in week 2, and it'll probably be week 3 as well. If you have any questions, post them in the Ask Dr. Phenix forum there in discussion board. That's if it's general interest. If you have a specific thing particularly related to your grade. And I grade high, folks. I grade high as long as you're meeting. I'm going to be very, very clear as to what it takes to get a high grade. But if you do it right, particularly in the formatting of these, the formatting of the journal article critique is it's guaranteed to make your clarity of thought evident, okay, and to save you a lot of time. It'll be economy of effort. And you're not going to be writing new essays. You're going to be putting it in the proper slots to make your thought flow work really, really well. If any of you need any assistance with grammar and spelling and writing skills, there is a wonderful online writing center for you to access, and I encourage you to do that if you have any difficulty at all with your writing. If you've gotten any feedback from professors that your writing needs to represent you well and with great honor. Okay, you want people to honor your words. More on that later too. I think that's enough for today. I'll leave it at that. God bless you all. I'm going to share with you one of our local creatures here. This is a dog. This is MyDog. I have named her MyDog because she chose me, really. When I went into look at the place, there are some little dogs. This one just made it very, very clear that she was going to be mine. Alrighty. Her name is Lassie. She is not a collie. She thinks she is. She runs to save the other dogs from every now and then. If the cat's locked in the back room, she will yelp and howl until we save the cat. She's wonderful. This is a wonderful dog. God bless you all, and I wish you well in the course, and we'll see you next time, Lord willing. Bye-bye.